Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak. And how's everybody doing? Oh, my goodness. It is Labor Day weekend 2023. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm having a great day. I actually took the day off today because I had to go to the dentist. Dun, dun, dun. I know that's not exciting. Here's the thing, though. I haven't been to the dentist in 3 years. Not because I got dirty mouth or I have poor hygiene or whatever the situation is, but because let's just face it, insurance sometimes is a problem. Okay. Um, where I work for, their insurance is through Delta Dental, and I know that's boring, but for some reason they were not paying dentists. I mean, for whatever reason, Delta Dental just decided, you know what? We're just tired of actually being an insurance company, and we're not going to pay you guys. So my dentist, Dr. Mike, good guy. I went to school with him. He's a good guy. Um, he was like, we just can't do business with Delta Dental. They're just not paying their bills. So I guess if I'm going to do the stuff I heard, this is the stuff I heard. You can tell everybody you heard that Delta Dental was dropping the ball, and they are. So anyway, I now have better insurance because my wife works for Nucor Steel, cold finish. Thank you, Nucor. You have really good insurance, and now I can just go get my teeth cleaned whenever I want. And everybody smiles, and they're like, "Hey, it's been 3 years. Oh my god, yeah, your hair's so great." Oh, shut up. Anyway, happy Labor Day. Hope everybody's doing well. Here in Florence, South Carolina, we have a local race. NASCAR comes to town in Darlington. I'm sure you guys have heard about the track Too Tough to Tame. It's their logo. Um, yeah. So the race is going on, and I have a confession. I hate NASCAR. I hate it. I hate it. My first wife, let's just call her the Amanda. Let's just call her Amanda. I mean, that's not her name, but hypothetically, that's her. For legal purposes. Um, she loved NASCAR. She loved, in particular, Rusty Wallace, and I did not. I did not like NASCAR. I liked the cars. I thought the cars were cool. I thought some of the people were cool. When I was growing up, I had a stepdad who really liked Bill Elliott, mainly because he drove for Coors Light and he drank a lot of Coors Light at the time. But he was awesome Bill from Dawsonville. And my dad lived in Dawsonville. So I was like, hey, I guess I could pull for Bill Elliott. Um, but as years went on, I was like, whatever. I guess if I'm going to be in a relationship, I have to have some bend and flex, and I got to find who my driver is going to be. And for whatever reason, I liked Mark Martin. I don't know why. I can't explain it. He just seemed like a really good guy who just never ended up winning the big, whatever. At the time, it was called the Winston Cup. I don't know what it is now. It's some kind of PC version of that. But Mark Martin was my guy. I liked him. And sometimes he would win some really cool races, but he was always kind of a gentleman about it. Whereas my ex, like Rusty Wallace, who was kind of a jerk. But here's the thing. And things like racing, especially circle track racing, um, you don't win prizes by being nice. You win prizes by being ruthless. And Rusty Wallace, when he was a racer, was ruthless, just like everybody else who's a racer, everybody else who wins. But Mark would win just by being better. Like when he won, it was like through integrity. Like nobody, I don't think there's anybody that had bad feelings about Mark Martin. They were always like, if he won, they were like, dude, he's just better today. They were just, but if Rusty won, people were really to fight each other. Or if, Earnhardt won or Gordon won, then people were like, if I get a chance, I'm gonna deck that dude. Or whatever. So, funny story. I had to endure a lot of NASCAR when I was married, but that's fine because you give and give. Eh, everything is an agreement. You're in this together, so you whatever their hobbies or your hobbies, whatever their interests are, your interests, and you go along with things and you go to events and you have a good time because you're supposed to. You find the thing that you like, and you're just like, well, I don't like that, but I like this. So that's what it was. And when I got out of the military and I she and I divorced one another. I worked for Budweiser right about the time that Earnhardt signed with Budweiser. Earnhardt Jr., by the way. So Dale Jr., nice guy, but he was not the media guy. He was not the guy to get on camera and be like, "I'd like to thank the number 8, Budweiser." Blah, 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 blah. You know how they have the lingo where they always just credit their sponsors and the people who pay their bills. He wasn't that guy, and he's still not that guy. I mean, he's an icon. He's a legend. He's known for being Earnhardt's son, but also just being himself. He has a podcast now. It's pretty dang good. I listened to a few episodes over the years, and I like it, but I don't listen to it because it's just not my cup of tea. NASCAR is not my cup of tea. Um, I get it. I get where there's the allure of a stock car turning left, and you can outdrive the other guy. Now these are not stock cars. It's called NASCAR. The S in NASCAR stands for stock, but it's not stock. Um, so yeah. Hope you guys have fun turning left. Good job. Whatever. Your fans all along with you can yell at each other for why they're not turning left faster than you are or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. They're here in town. Good. I'm glad I don't work for a company that has to entertain the fans. I'm glad I don't curtail or cater to those folks as well anymore with my job. So, yay, win-win. All right, let's talk about some stuff I heard. I've heard a lot of things. This past week, Joe Rogan had Oliver Anthony on. That's his stage name. Oliver Anthony Music is actually what he goes by. His real name's Chris. Found that on the podcast. Really interesting guy. He talked about how he just played his first played event for performing in front of people. Before that, he has not performed in front of people, so it was all new to him, and it's all kind of overwhelming. He talks a lot about dealing with depression and anxiety, like most of us are, because the world's a scary place. Um, and how he found solace and serenity in faith, and he's using Joe Rogan's platform to talk about it. It's pretty good. They talked for almost 3 hours. I'm at hour number 2 right now. It's pretty good. He gives a great shout out to Nolan Taylor. If you guys don't know Nolan Taylor, I hope that you've been on YouTube. I'm sure that everybody's listened to Oliver Anthony's Rich Men North of Richmond. But if you go on YouTube and look at the West Virginia series that debuted him, Nolan Taylor is another guy that I found on that who's incredible. He's one of those artists that kind of kicks me in my spleen. There's no other way to explain it. He has a song called 68. I've reposted it and reshared it as many times as I can without people physically fighting me. But give Nolan Taylor a listen. I think you'll like it. And I'm glad that Oliver Anthony got to be on Rogan to give a voice to a lot of people who are unheard. It's rare that someone who just works hard and is frustrated by the system and frustrated by its government and frustrated by the people who are supposed to be representing them being so out of touch with its people, how the whole system seems to be up against them. And I'm excited for the fact that he has a voice right now and he's using it to say some of these things. And, he's not polished and prepared. It's just him talking and off the cuff, and it's great. So good job, buddy. Um, I'm hoping that you're okay through all this. It's a lot to take on. It's a lot of attention. It's a lot of responsibility, and yeah, I hope it's not too much. Um, Okay, so I do want to talk about a few shows that I've watched. There are a few shows that or movies that have come out that I recently got to watch that I thought were pretty interesting, and I wanted to share my thoughts and comments. Um, there was a really cool superhero movie, because they're always a superhero movie. There's a really cool superhero movie that came out on HBO, which is called Max now. I don't know why HBO just is no longer using their name. That's kind of weird. But The Flash, um, Ezra Miller is playing the Flash and has for a few things that they've done through DC. And I've hated everything that DC has done. I've really thought they've rushed everything. Um, Man of Steel was good, but then they've kind of discarded Henry Cavill, and I was kind of disappointed with that. I liked the Wonder Woman movie, the first one, but the second one was just was garbage. This, however, I think is the best DC movie that they've made, and I don't know why. I do know why, as far as the special effects have finally caught up, the storytelling has finally caught up, the acting has finally allowed it to happen. But you've now, with the Flash, given an opening for their version of the multiverse, which is very cool because you're going to have a clash at some point here between DC and Marvel. And it's going to be mind blowing when they eventually get there. But I hope they don't rush it. We're at a really good spot right now with this. Um, I just looked up some information about this movie. Here's the rundown. Let me make it bigger because my eyes are bad. Worlds collide when Flash uses his superpowers to travel back in time to change events of the past. However, when his attempt to save his family inadvertently alters the future, he becomes trapped in a reality in which General Zod has returned, threatening annihilation with no other superheroes to turn to. The Flash looks to coax a very different Batman out of retirement and rescue an imprisoned Kryptonian, albeit not the one he's looking for. Um, Now, I'll say it again. This is the best DC movie that they've made, in my opinion. This is my opinion. I know some people are like, "Are you kidding me? What about Wonder Woman? What about the Man of Steel?" I mean, okay, those were good. This is the best, and I liked it for a lot of reasons. If you haven't seen it, just skip ahead because I'm going to talk about it. I liked it for the fact that they brought all of the Batmen back, or most of the Batman back, not all of them. They brought back Michael Keaton as 71 years old. He looks like Batman still. He is awesome. He is an action star at 71 years old. He can still kick butt. Ben Affleck, I thought this was his best version of Batman in all of the times he's played Batman. This is great. I mean, he was only in it in the first, whatever, 30 minutes or so. I thought this was the best version of him. Fantastic. Um, Plus, you get a little cameo at the end with, um, not to spoil it for anybody, but George Clooney. Super, super. He did the best version of what he's good at. He's better at being Bruce Wayne than he is Batman. Okay. Affleck is better at being Batman. Michael Keaton is the Batman. And they played homage to all of it perfectly. Perfectly. Now, I looked it up on the internet because I was curious about, how did the film do? We just came out of a pandemic. It had competition at the movie theater. I mean, not everybody's got expendable income now. We've heard Oliver Anthony sing about that, how people are just struggling right now financially, and we are. But how did the movie do? So it says the budget was between 200 and 220 million. Why is there a dash? Don't you know how much you paid to make the movie? Anyway, 200 to 220 million dollars it took to make, and it only brought in 268 million. Okay, so still that's a crap ton of money, but you also spent a crap ton of money to make it. Now, in the world of Hollywood, they say this is the biggest failure of all the superhero movies at the box office. The biggest failure. Here's the weird headline. I read a headline this past week that said that this is Disney's biggest failure. Why is Disney involved? Disney doesn't own DC. Who thought that that would be? I mean, what does DC now belong to Disney? Did I miss something? I mean, where did that come from? So anyway, whatever. Who cares? Who cares? I like the movie. Now, I went to work and I talked to a few of my friends who are big time into superhero stuff. And I was like, hey, did you guys see this? I thought this was awesome. And they were like, oh, I didn't like it because of the crap with Ezra Miller. And I was like, what? What happened with it? What's the... So I typed in Ezra Miller allegations. Boom, right away. I mean, the top reporters in Inquirer and People and everything else started breaking down all this stuff about how he was in trouble for violence, grooming, and manipulation of minors, um, kidnapping, just crazy kind of stuff that you're like, wait, not the Flash, not the guy that's a superhero on the TV, not the... Yeah, that guy. Not only that guy, but that guy that they have to now call they. I don't know if he has split personality. I don't know what the situation is, but in the articles that I've read, everything that they use a pronoun for calls Ezra Miller they. Whatever. Whatever. Listen, I like the movie. I don't like the person. Okay. So they're probably going to replace him. It'd be a lot easier to replace him. It's probably why it didn't do as well at the box office. Just saying. If you're a turd, people don't like you. So be nice. There you go. You can tell them you heard it here. It's stuff I heard. All right. Now, during this past week, I also wanted to see something that was on, like, what can I watch at home for free? Dungeons and Dragons. Now, when I was a kid, there was a Dungeons and Dragons TV show that would play on like Saturday morning cartoons, and it was really cool because it had the full gamut of, a thief and a warrior and a magician and stuff like that. And it was always like they fell out of something into something, and they had to. Oh, what was it? I think the cartoon was they were on a roller coaster riding the Dungeons and Dragons ride, and magic took over, and the next thing you know, they were in the Dungeons and Dragons world, and they actually had the powers, and they had to figure out how to, like, survive. So this is cool because you got an interesting cast right away. You got what's his name? What's his name? I gotta click on a thing. What's his name? Dadgummit. I was gonna read the information that was on the page. Chris Pine. Yeah, there he is. Old handsome Chris Pine. Um, and a lot of other people I don't know, but they did have Hugh Grant, which I like. Um, and Michelle Rodriguez, Fast and Furious shout out. Anyway, so Dungeons and Dragons. Here's the rundown for the movie. Okay, a charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers embark on an epic journey to retrieve a long lost relic, but their charming adventure goes dangerously awry when they run afoul with the wrong people. Now, spoiler alert, Hugh Grant is not a good guy. And I like him as a bad guy. Listen, Hugh Grant needs to play more bad guys. I like it. He's kind of pompous and he's charming in a way, but he's also like, I hate that guy. You know what I mean? He did great. Um, the show the show is not going to take up a lot of your time. It is 2 hours and 14 minutes, but it's a quick 2 hours and 14 minutes. There's nothing that lingers. There's no lag. There's no downtime. It's just, if you want to walk out of the room and make a snack, you're okay. If you want to look at your phone once in a while, you're okay. Just put down the phone when the final battle happens because it's pretty cool. You get to see everybody do their thing, and it's great. It's great. So I liked it. Um, it did pretty good on Rotten Tomatoes. Didn't do good for critics, but hey, whatever. Fans like what they like, right? And right now, it is free on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, check it out there. All right. Now, I want to talk about the thing that I want to talk about all along, which is Ahsoka. See, I got a bobblehead in my, or if you're watching this on YouTube, I have a Ahsoka bobblehead. Oh, bobblehead, Ahsoka. Okay, so she is in episode 3, and it's really cool. Sabine Wren is training under Ahsoka to use the Force, but she can't. According to the droid Huyang, she is the worst Force user ever. But there is that tagline that they keep saying over and over again: the Force lives in all of us. It is in all living things. So there's going to be a moment where she actually uses the Force. Okay. Now, in the Clone Wars, when she wielded the lightsaber, she had the dark saber. She was great with the dark saber because she's a natural fighter. She's a Mandalorian by trade, by custom, by design. Um, Now, to be a force using Mandalorian Jedi, I'm just saying it moves her a little bit closer to maybe wielding the dark saber. I'm gonna put it out there. She could be the force wielding dark saber wielder person that rules Mandalore because she deserves it. And we could be seeing, because she's young in the show, we could be seeing her grow up on screen in front of us, being trained by Ahsoka, being trained by. You're going to have, at some moment, you're going to have a thing in there with her sister where, she's going to tell her, listen, I failed, but you are the rightful wielder of the dark saber and you deserve to run Mandalore. I mean, even though she wants it. So, yeah. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Now, in this episode, there was a lot of interesting battles. We are searching out for Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. We get to see a huge cast of senators, including Mon Mothma, um, debating on whether or not to even search out for Thrawn. They do find the hyperspace device, and eventually they find the Purgle, which is these space whales that helped transport Ezra and Thrawn to another galaxy. Now, what that does for Star Wars is it opens up a lot of discussion about what they're doing in other places we haven't seen before, which opens up the storyline, which opens up more of the world of Star Wars. It's an infinity kind of place, okay? It's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That's the whole tagline. That's the first few words that pop up on the screen in 1977. It still rings true today. Okay. Um, this was cool to see a live action Jason Syndulla. This is supposed to be the son of Kanan Jarrus and Hera Syndulla. I was kind of surprised he didn't have the Twi'lek hedral thing, tendrils, whatever they called, the thing on their head. I was surprised we didn't see that. Um, so Ahsoka with a spacesuit, that was kind of cool. Um, she jumped out of the suit to fight the A-wings that were attacking the ship. Very cool. Yeah. So anyway, lots of good stuff. I'm super excited about it. I am geeking out in levels that you guys don't even know. So I hope that you're watching some of this stuff. I hope that you're excited about it as well. I have a family member coming to stay with us this weekend, and we may do a bonus episode of the podcast. Just depends on how froggy he feels. But Charles, my what is he? My brother-in-law? Yeah, he's my brother-in-law. Has been on the podcast before. He is a former radio DJ by the name of Domino and Dakota West. If he's on here, we should have a good time. But I don't know if he'll do it. I'll ask. Can't hurt to ask. So anyway, y'all take care. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Get your koozie. Okay. See me if you want your koozie. It's right here. I do have a beer, by the way. If you have a beer, crack it open. Because it's Friday and I'm not working. Woo! That's good. I've cut the grass today. I've weed eated. I fixed things around the house. I got laundry going. I'm doing all the things, man. I've been to the grocery store. I've been to Sam's. I got stuff ready to grill. Productivity. Gotta love it. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who listens. Thank you to everybody who watches. I appreciate it. And this thing helps survive by sharing and whatever. If you want to be on the podcast and talk about anything, let me know. And until next time, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.